Yes, hello everyone, Paul Chirashkity, Cúilín Media. Welcome back for a special part of our weekend preview show. Joined by Grace Cullen, of course, very popular GA content creator across the social media world. And of course, known to be one of the biggest Louth fans out there as well. And the reason that Grace has joined us is because obviously me representing the Dubs, Grace will represent Louth. We'll be looking ahead to the weekend that is ahead of us. Dublin facing Louth once again this weekend, Sunday at 2:30. It is in Croke Park once again, and this time it is live on GAA Plus. Grace, how are we keeping?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Very good, very good. How are you feeling ahead of the weekend?
I'm slightly more nervous than I thought I would have been. I think after the Leinster final, I kind of thought, if Dublin had a good performance or performed well, could have been better for us. But also at the same time, I'm not quite sure. I'm probably still hurt by what happened back in Portlaoise a couple of weeks ago. It was such a pity to see the lads not turn up, as what I'd say personally. But I'm looking forward to it. I am looking forward to it, but I'm also just a slightly bit nervous. Slightly bit nervous. Yeah.
Absolutely. And then I think one of the key things is obviously we're well aware, even though Dublin got a lot of credit on the day for coming out determined to put things right and everything like that. And I said it at the start of the year that I thought that we would retain or regain the Leinster title because of everybody saying that it would be Louth and Meath that would win it at the beginning. And I thought that would fire up the lads. And I thought I was going to be proven right after that semi-final. But since then, a lot has changed. Dublin losing that Leinster final, from an outside perspective, how much do you think that could impact the Dubs?
It's a very hard one to look at because they're just so inconsistent. And I think, to go down and get nearly beaten by Wicklow to then come back and making a show of us nearly, is, if you can say that, and then to go and play Kildare or play Westmeath, in Croke Park. And I mean, they were good, but they were just doing things that Dublin don't do. And I know it's a thing where, it's not the same Dublin team as it always is, but I think they could have scored a goal nearly to put them 2 points up to full time, and he missed it or didn't pass it off to the person. I was like, it's just so un-Dublin like. But how they played in Portlaoise that day was, I genuinely think Louth we just did not show up, and it made Dublin look a lot better than what they were, which is the same the week before. Wicklow literally showed up so well and made Dublin look way worse than they were. So it was kind of like, it's a hard one to look at because it's like, then you see them playing against Westmeath and you're like, how did they do that? And how did Westmeath break them down like that? And how didn't we do that? Or the kickouts, and Paddy O'Cofaigh Byrne went off and they just went away in midfield then. And it's like, what happened with us? So it's a very hard one to compare and to see where Dublin are at, because they're just so inconsistent, and some performances are great and some aren't. And it's like, where are they at,
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think from my perspective, looking at it as a Dublin fan, is that when I saw the list, the team, and I seen that Con was out, and I looked at the team, I'm thinking we're not very intimidating, I would say, if I was on the other side in terms of players I'd be scared of. Absolutely. Without the likes of Baskell, Con O'Callaghan, Owen Merchant, Lee Gannon, and when Paddy O'Cofaigh Byrne goes off injured straight away I was looking at it going, there is still that weird mental block, I feel like, sometimes in Leinster for teams when they're playing against Dublin. And I felt like Westmeath had it in the first half where they were giving us too much respect. And in the second half, especially around that third quarter, when Matthew Whitaker kicked that outrageous 2-pointer and then they really went on the run, it was like they realised, like the penny dropped. They were like, these aren't actually that good. If we run at them and show them no respect, we can beat these. Like, they're not invincible. And all of a sudden it looked like they were going to run home with it. I have to give credit to our lads on the day because we fought back. Should have won. David Byrne should have put that ball into the back of the net instead of fisting it up and over. But in the heat of the moment, probably made the right decision. But then extra time, I was looking at it going, I don't think we're winning this. I met Jason Keelan from the Local Bread GA pod. He was in the media box and I was chatting to him and I was saying, you are going to win this. And he was like, shut up, I'm not. I've been here before. I don't. And I'm like, I swear. Yeah. I'm like, I swear to God, look at who you have coming in and look at who we have coming in. You're taking this. But it's just that mental block, I feel like. And maybe that day, while Louth, yes, had won the Leinster Championship, still hadn't beaten Dublin in Leinster in a long time. And this feels like another chance to put that to right.
I think so, and I think the drama and the media, and I think the media is even more amplified this year, that there's just so many teams getting sucked into what's being said and what's happening outside of the game. So I feel like because we went 5 wins on the bounce from the league straight into the Leinster, we obviously had a bye in the first round, then bet Wexford very, very, very comfortably. We came in being like, I think it's the first time ever as a county that we were confident that we could beat the Dubs, and we were like, if they could only beat Wicklow by 2 points. It was all kind of like a hearsay kind of thing, and obviously our lads felt great, and they were after getting 5 wins and placing third in Division 2 after being like kind of pipped to be relegated, and then to go in and play the Dubs, and this is the best chance we've ever had. And then it was just like, we just shit ourselves. Like, that's literally what happened. And I'm like, I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing. I feel like, it's like going in on Sunday, like, I personally don't think that the boys could play as bad as they did in Portlaoise. Well, I'd like to hope so, but it's also a thing where we just broke down. And with Dublin as well, it was like they looked so good. Like, Niall Scully absolutely ran loose in Portlaoise that day, but then he didn't do the same thing in Croke Park for the Leinster final. And I think back to the Westmeath point of, they probably went up afraid that, oh, Dublin are probably going to win, it's in their back garden, it's in Croke Park, like the Dubs fans will be there. Now, I have to say one thing about Portlaoise is that the Dubs fans really got behind the Dubs, and I think they put a lot of pressure on our kickouts, they put a lot of pressure on our free take. Not that we had that many, but like it nearly even amplified it even more. So like they were lost in Croke Park because there wasn't that many Dubs there, which is also another thing for the Dubs, that they're losing support by hundreds. So for Westmeath, what Mark McHugh has done with them is absolutely incredible, and he instilled that belief in them to say, you can go out and beat these. Like, they're not as good. Like, you are only, I can't remember what the score was at halftime. Maybe were they down by 2 points, maybe, or something.
Yeah, down by
Then to then go into the second half and then absolutely annihilate them in extra time, it was incredible. So for Westmeath, I feel like the Loud boys need to take some of that into account and be like, yeah, we mightn't hammer them out the gate. Maybe we're on the same level as them, but it's just a more level playing ground now, rather than thinking that we're the favourite and we're a little bit better, because after the last time, you can't think like that at all.
Absolutely. And personally, having seen the game as well, like I was there, was in the press box, and every time Westmeath scored, the noise difference was outrageous between when Westmeath scored and between when Dublin scored. Apart from the final few minutes, when Costello kicked a 2-pointer, there was a huge roar. When Byrne put us ahead, there was a huge roar. But when Westmeath scored in the first 15 minutes, there was a huge roar.
Yeah.
Like they really had this sense, and the crowd made a massive difference. And the one thing I will say is just seeing Louth up close multiple times, they're very well supported. And I wouldn't put it past, unless there's a massive turn, because we were beaten in the stands against Westmeath. And unless something has drastically changed, I think we're on track to be outnumbered in the stands by Louth as well. And that could have a huge say on the game.
Yeah. I think like being in Portlaoise, it was absolutely packed, and like it was electric. I have to say, like, I was standing on the pitch, like walking around doing my content, and I actually felt like a fire in my belly, because I couldn't believe the amount of red and white I was seeing. And even though I knew the amount of people that were traveling, but I also nearly think it was kind of like everybody was there to instill the belief that we want to be there when Louth beat Dublin. It wasn't that, oh, we don't know if Louth will. And I think it was just an overconfidence. And it was rightly so, because we were playing so well, and or we felt like we were right on winning ways, and we could have got, it was the best chance we ever got at Dublin. So now
everyone was saying it, Grace. Literally, I remember in the media on the run up, I was listening to people saying, not only are Louth going to win, they're going to hammer Dublin. I was going.
It's a hard one. And I think that there's like, the training sessions, like they're training away, and like, it's they all felt the hurt. And I think everybody, the managers, the selectors, the team members, like everybody felt that hurt, the fans. But we're still getting on with it. We're still going, like, let's go again. Like, let's get up to Croke Park at the weekend. Like you said, outnumber the Dubs. And I think any fair weather supporters that came to the Leinster final just because Dublin were in a Leinster final thought they were going to win it again, they're not going to be there on Sunday. Do you know what I mean? Because they're going to lose that, oh, they lost again. And you know, that kind of a way. So Dublin are losing which you don't want to see that either for a county team. Like, these lads, they're athletes, like they're doing everything that they can to bring their county back to where they were. And in fairness to them, like, you couldn't take that away from them. But at the same time, I just would like to hope that it's a good game. I'm just hoping for a good game more so than anything, really, to be honest.
Absolutely. And then that kind of brings me to the last point. Where will this game be won and lost?
I think confidence for our lads is number one. Like, I think they need to go in confident, knowing that we can play this game. Like, we can break you down. We can, man mark. We can, whatever we need to do to stop us. I think learning from what happened in Portlaoise to Sunday is confidence. I genuinely think it's down to confidence, and I also think it's down to our kickouts. Like, in the games that we've won and won well, or played really well, is when we executed our kickouts so well, like breaking them down, breaking ball, cleaning them in the air, and powering forward, like that counter. What you call that, counter press? No, I'm trying to think of the thing in my head, but like when they go forward and they go forward fast, like the Craig Lennon coming off the shoulder, like Darren McDonald's been absolutely class, like that power forward. I don't know what's going to happen, like injury wise, Dublin side. I don't know who's going to be coming back in or not, but I think if we can just not panic on our kickouts and our kickout strategy, as in if we can try and win as many kickouts as we can and like hold the ball, I think that's where we'll learn from the last. I know obviously kicking and accuracy is a lot better, and our accuracy in kicking was terrible in Portlaoise, but I definitely think confidence number one. Like, the lads need to have the confidence to go in and say, like, we're fit, we can do this, and don't overthink it. And number two, I think the main thing is for us is our kickouts, because when you keep, I've noticed with the Louth lads, like this year, when they went on a spell of losing their kickouts, that their heads drop, they go down, or we're not winning, and then the less the players come up to try and win the kick out, because they're like, we're not winning them, and then the other team are just kind of steaming ahead. So I think it's more confidence, kick outs, and then hopefully our accuracy. Now, we've played in Croke Park enough this year and last year, so I'm hoping that's good. But I think that's the two things: confidence and our kick outs.
I think the key thing is, as well, is Louth need to treat this like as if it's a Leinster final as well. Like, it's Dublin in Croke Park. And personally, I think a massive, massive part of this game in terms of who's going to win is how fit is Peadar O'Cofaigh-Byrne. Is he out? Because if he's out, that's our main midfield man gone. And when he went off against Westmeath, they took over our kickouts. And personally, I think whether he plays or not could have a huge say. And I think Louth then, I'm not going to say that the media talk about them being favourites got to their head necessarily, but I think it more got to Dublin's head and fired Dublin up. Yes. And I don't think that same level of fire will be there from a Dublin perspective this time.
Definitely not. And I agree with that. I think obviously you're going in as an underdog. What does the underdogs want to do? Prove a point of, we're going to win. Like saying with Donegal down and with all them different teams, like the big team that have won, like when you're an underdog, you want to win. And I think with Dublin, and also a thing where it's like Ger Brennan left us. Like, I think everybody forgets that Ger Brennan was our manager for 2 years and he's not anymore. Now he's with Dublin. Like, he would have had Niall Moyna and a few of his backroom staff would have been involved with Louth. So there's also that little extra bit of, I would say, friction. I don't know, like, it's not friction, but it's also like, we're up against you. He did like a Leinster title with Louth. He probably wanted to get another one with Dublin, and that would have looked really well for him. It didn't happen for him, but it was a lot of other things that went in Dublin's favour for them to win. But I mean, we'll all see on Sunday. Hopefully I'm smiling like this and hopefully you're not. And we get the media, we get the favoritism from the media, and we get a little bit of credit. But look, it's just great to be in the All-Ireland series. And I mean, after last year and how we didn't really perform very well, but obviously we got our Leinster title and it was absolutely fabulous. But I think it's great just to give it a good go. And I mean, it's so funny because I was even talking to my dad about this. I was like, if you win, you're up against mad teams. If you lose, you're still up against mad teams, as in like big teams. So there's no... there's a benefit of winning, because if you win two in the bounce, you straight into the quarterfinals and you get a week off. But at the same time, it's like it's just the results from last week. It's really exciting, and it's a really good time for GAA football, and I have to say I'm very looking forward to it.
Awesome. And the final thing I'll point out about this championship, and this is where I'd be a little bit concerned in terms of writing off the Dubs, is I don't think there's one team that's been fully consistent throughout this season. You go into the year, Donegal just smoked Kerry in the league final. They're all Ireland favourites, surely, and then they lose to Down. Roscommon win Connacht, and then lose to Tyrone. Like, the amount of times I'm like, okay, I like this team. They lose the next game. And
it's class. Or even like Down and beating Donegal, and then they bet Leitrim in the Tailteann Cup, and then Offaly beat them, and like it was like, it's so exciting, and that's what we want. Like, that's what you don't know what's coming, and you want people to be streaming in and looking at. Like, in fairness with Roscommon, like the only probably game last weekend was Galway and Kildare. That wasn't really much of a contention, if you could say that. But like with Roscommon and Tyrone, I have to say it was one of my favorite games of football I watched. Like, I just thought it was absolutely brilliant. Like, and for a team that won their first Connacht title in so long to come out and play that well, and Tyrone had a point to play, it was brilliant. And we'll see that this weekend. Like, we've Armagh and Derry, we've Monaghan and Mayo, we've Louth in Dublin, and we've Cavan and Westmeath. Sure, Cavan Westmeath, what is it, sold out in 5 minutes? Class. You know, so like it's just great, and it's just what the GA needs. So I just hope everyone kind of just gets behind all the teams and stops with all the negativity. I'm sick of all the negativity, and just supports the players, because that's all they need. But we've a good summer ahead for sure.
No, me too. We only push positivity here on Cúilín Media, but the last thing is we also push that we get your prediction. So are you going with Louth?
Absolutely. I'm going to back my boys until we go home. So yeah, I'm going with Louth. Louth to win maybe by 2 on Sunday, hopefully.
I'm going to go with the Dubs slightly out of hope, because I'm there thinking if there's not a bounce back after what we saw in Croke Park last time, I'll be quite worried in terms of where this trajectory is headed. So yeah, I'll go with us to bounce back, but I'm not as confident. I was more confident going into the game in Portlaoise that I'd see a bounce back than I am this time, because of how much we were being written off and stuff like that. But yeah.
We'll see on Sunday.
We'll see you on Sunday, absolutely. Grace, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. Thanks a million. Best of luck with the weekend.
Thank you.
All right.
See you there.
And thank you for joining us until our weekend preview show, and then we'll have our weekend review show as usual on Sunday night at 8 p.m, looking back at all the games, including this one. But until then, Torah.
Follow your instinct, baby. Follow your instinct.